Hello, welcome back to another video. Anime Diana here. We are doing What If Deku Was Like Spider-Man Part 4. Yes, we are doing What If Deku Was Like Spider-Man Part 4. We last left off at the end of the whole hero training field trip. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what it's called. Hero training camp thing. The hero training field trip. We had just passed that. At the end, the whole Nomu incident, you know what I'm saying? So, we just got through that, and, now it's time to get into the UA Sports Festival. This Sports Festival is going to be a bit different, as UA, UA takes the best students out of the first years, second years, and the third years, and have them fight alone. But that is until... And those best students are determined out of the last 4 remaining in the final round of the UA, the UA Sports Festival for each grade alone. So, for example, first years like 1A or 1B, if they 1C, 1D, all of that. The last 4 remaining, even if 3 of them lose, those 4. And, first place, of course. Those 4 will be going against the 4th place, the top 4 in second years, and the top 4s in third years. And whoever's the winner of that are the strongest student in UA, for example. So, yeah. So this sports festival is more important than the original. And this is when many heroes, basically pick up, kids they're going to train. And there's more heroes like Tony Stark, Captain America, the Avengers also. Usually the top students, usually the top students alone, like the number 1 student, gets picked up by the whole entire Avengers. Because you know how you stay there for a few days? Each Avengers teaches you one thing about how to fight or how to use, you know what I'm saying? And the Avengers is really like the mega card. So, first place usually gets the Avengers. Well, first place always gets the Avengers, so yeah. So, first place is really the best. UA Sports Festival is coming up for Izuku Midori, and Izuku's already excited. He's like, I can't wait to be trained by the Avengers. As he speaks to Bakugo, Bakugo says, you're funny. I'm gonna be the one training with the Avengers. Izuku looks at Bakugo in his eye. And he looks away, and they both just start laughing. MJ then shows up out of nowhere. It's about lunchtime. And she says, what you guys laughing about? He says, Izuku then says, I'm laughing because Bakugo thinks he's going to be first place in the UA Sports Festival. MJ says, what's so funny? You don't think he can? Izuku laughs and says, he can't beat me. Bakugo says, what? That's what you're laughing about? Damn, Bakugo says. Izuku laughs. He says, well, we all have pretty smart brains. I guess Bakugo's the dumbest one here. Based off of that stat. MJ says, look, you guys are not in my league. You guys are not on my level. I'm the smartest one, says MJ. Izuku laughs. He says, and I'm the strongest. Bakugo then puts his palm on Izuku's face and does an explosion like a mini one, not a humongous one. Izuku's like, dang, what was that for? Bakugo's like, whatever. And he walks away and goes to grab a water bottle. Izuku says, hey, go get me one too. He says to Izuku, Akatsuki as he gets a water bottle. Oh, my bad again. But, then Katsuki throws an empty water bottle that he had just was using right at Izuku's face. But yeah, let's get that past this part. Basically, at this lunch, they basically talk to you about the UA Sports Festival and are ready for it. UA Sports Festival will take place in about 2 days from then. We get into the first day of the day of the UA Sports Festivals. All the students in 1A are all nervous, and then Aizawa explains something to them before they go out. He says, you kids will all be fighting all the students in the school pretty much. The top 4 out of the first years of the UA of the UA Sports Festival will be going against third years, and second years. I already know 4 of those kids will be in my class, and if not, you're dead. Aizawa laughs. He says, you better not be beaten by 1B. You better beat 1B. You better beat 1B and 1C, 1D, 1G, all of that. And then I better see one of my students in the top 3 of out of all of third, first, second, and third years. You know what I'm saying? Izuku then shouts. He says, well, he doesn't shout, but he interrupts and says, no worry, Aizawa Sensei. I'll be first place. He says out loud. The rest of the students look at Izuku, and they kind of like are confused by how he just said that normally. Izuku says, I'm not nervous at all. And besides, I'm the strongest one in this class. And, well, Izuku doesn't brag like that. He says, I had the most chance of getting it. And besides, I believe in myself, says Izuku. Aizawa Sensei says, belief in yourself doesn't matter. Especially when there's kids you're going against like Mirio and Tamaki. Izuku says, Mirio and Tamaki, I've heard of them. They're like the big 3 of UA. Mirio, Tamaki, and I forgot her name. Sorry. And Flying Girl. Energy Beam Girl, whatever. So it says, yeah. So, good luck against that if you think you can be first place. Izuku says, I don't think I know. So, yeah. It's all it takes is students outside. And yes, they're able to use, like, devices as long as they sign a waiver that they're going to. And, of course, Deku chooses to use his, his web slingers. So, yeah. For the first round, just like in the original, it's the tag team. I'm not going to get into that. I'll just tell you the team that Izuku chose. Izuku and Bakugo aren't really stupid, so they go for each other so that, Oh, wait, no. The first one was the race. I'm not going to get into the race. We all know who would get first place in the race. Izuku. Even if he didn't use powers. Even if he didn't have quirk. Just one for all and couldn't use it. He'd still get first, just like in the original. So, first place, Izuku. Second place, Shoto, and third place, Bakugo. Unlike the original, Izuku isn't a total idiot. For the second exam, he chooses his team of him, MJ, Bakugo, and yes, he also chooses Shoto. Them 4 are the smartest out of the group because they know that them 4 together are basically unstoppable. So, they run through that like it's nothing. And now it's time for the big part of not the biggest part, but, the big part of the first year of UA practical. I keep saying practical. UA Sports Festival. So, yeah. First fight is, Denki Kaminari against that one girl. You know what I'm saying? I forgot her name. The one with the vines for hair. Yeah. Denki gets smacked, yada, yada, yada. Now let's get into a fight that we're interested in. Second fight is Isuki Midoriya versus Kirishima. You guys been thinking, it's too easy of a fight. Let's just get into it. Isuki looks at Kirishima and says, Hey, Kiri. Sorry for this, but I may have to beat you up. Kiri says, come on, Deku. You may be super strong, but literally, I'm meant to withstand that kind of strength. Kiri laughs. He says, Izuku laughs. He says, I guess we'll see what this fight comes through. He instantly, Izuku instantly plants 2 webs connected to his hands right behind Kiri and pulls himself towards there, going for a kick dead to Kiri's stomach. Kiri hardens right on his stomach, and and Izuku's punch is kind of stopped. Kicks are kind of stopped. Izuku says, wow, you're actually pretty strong. That kind of kick could have blown up a car. Even could have toppled over a truck, maybe even flipped it. Izuku says, you want strong guys. He goes for a super fast punch to Kiri's face right before Kiri can harden again. Kiri is hit near the out of the bounds, and Izuku jumps forward. Kiri then jumps up to get back into the middle. Izuku jumps forward so fast once Kiri dodges it and is almost out of the ring, It's kind of like Dragon Ball where they get out. It's just once they touch the floor, that counts as out. So what Izuku does is he uses his wings and uses them to propel himself back so he doesn't fall out. He then jumps forward and goes for a bunch of punches at Kirishima, and they are all guarded by his hardening. Izuku says, well, your hardening may be strong, but you're not strong enough to defeat me. He then backs up and then uses webs to propel himself forward onto the floor and jump up using the momentum. Using that momentum, he uses his foot to spin around and kick Kirishima right in his face. Kirishima tries to use his arms to block, including with hardening, but it just doesn't work, and Kirishima ends up being knocked out of the ring. Izuku says, I guess I'm stronger. Well, I already knew that. He brushes off his shoulders and he goes inside. As they announce, Spider-Man is the winner of the UA Sports Fest. Well, I said Sports Festival. The first round of the UA Sports Festival. Well, the winner of the first part, the first fight of the last round of the UA, the first year's UA Sports Festival, whatever. Izuku walks in, not even really hurt at all whatsoever. He goes to Bakugo. He says, hey, you better nail that next fight. High fives him. As Bakugo walks into the stadium. Next fight, Katsuki Bakugo versus Chaco Uraraka. This fight just goes just as in the original. It's just Bakugo wipes out Ochako even faster than in the original. So yeah, I'm not going to get into the fight because this fight's pretty long. It's a pretty good fight though. Don't get me wrong. It's just, not the best fight or like fights that are really super focused on in the show. I mean, this fight is focused on, but not doesn't have too much of a meaning behind it, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. Not bad about that. Next fight, it was still Totoroki, yada, yada, yada. We're not getting to that yet. So, the last four remaining of the first years, or just like predicted before, Izuku Midoriya, Katsuki Bakugo, Mary Jane, or MJ, you'd say. Yeah, Mary Jane, and Shoto Todoroki. The two fights that will take place is Izuku Midoriya versus Shoto Todoroki, and Katsuki Bakugo against Mary Jane. Izuku looks at Katsuki Bakugo as these are now. He says, hey, go easy on my girlfriend. Mary Jane says, girlfriend? Because, they're not officially dating yet, you know what I'm saying? And she blushes a bit. Izuku's like, oh, I said that out loud. Damn, I talk too much. But yeah, they get ready for the first fight, which is Izuku Midoriya versus Shoto Todoroki. Before this fight, yes, just like in the original, Shoto tells Izuku about his father, but it doesn't faze Izuku as much because, he's like, I don't really care. You got your family problems. You deal with them yourself, okay, my boy? I'm not going easy because you got your family problems. You better use all your strength to get me or you're going to get whacked even more in his mind. So, Deku doesn't really care about Shoto's backstory. He does care about, Shoto's feelings and stuff like that. Fight-wise, he's not going to go easy over that. He's going to go even harder so Shoto can pull out his full-on strength and still get whacked. Because that's what's going to happen. The fight begins and instantly, Shoto Todoroki blows up a humongous wall of ice. But just how strong Izuku is, he punches the ice glacier one time and it cracks up and crumbles into pieces. Izuku yells out to Todoroki, he says, that's not going to be enough to beat me, you little... he doesn't say all that. He says, that's not going to be enough to beat me. So, you might as well use that fire side of yours. Shoto says, shut up! As he throws a whole more ice glaciers directed towards, that kind of like kill Izuku. Not kill Izuku, but you know what I mean. Like great attacks to Izuku. Very, very strong attacks. But each one doesn't even affect Izuku's body because of his great durability. Izuku then says, "Trust me, attacks like these won't work on me because of my durability. The only chance you have is using that fire side of yours." Izuku then shows, "It's not even his power, so I don't know why you're getting angry about it. It's all yours," says Izuku. Shoto then says, "Fine. If you want me to go all out, then I'll just kill you." He then empowers his flame side, and it's like a humongous burst of flame power and his eyesight at the same time, making this great attack towards Izuku. Izuku, though, tries to use a web to fling across, but the web is melted. So Izuku's only chance is trying to get through this attack. Izuku is hit by this burning attack really badly, and he just continues walking through. Once the flames stop, Izuku comes out pretty burnt up, and you can tell that he's been hurt pretty badly, as he does have a limp in his walk. He walks up to Shoto, who's pretty much burnt out after using his full power, or using fire power for the first time in a while, as you could say. He grabs Shoto by the neck and he slams him on the ground, telling him, "That's what I'd like to see. But, of course I won," says Izuku. And they announce the winner as Izuku Midoriya. Both Izuku and Shoto are rushed into the nurse's office. So, oh my bad about that. Both Izuku and Shoto are rushed into the nurse's office out of Izuku because of his very bad burn, and Shoto because of the exhaustion and, the injuries he's gotten from Deku's punches. Well, that slam, you could say. Because that slam was deadly. He basically, destroyed some of the ground with that slam. Deku was not playing no games whatsoever. And now begins the Katsuki Bakugo versus MJ fight, which is actually, to be honest, one of my favorite. Well, this is actually going to be one of the fights that I'm actually mostly focused on because I find this fight more important. Izuku cheers on, "Go Bakugo, go MJ." And then in his mind he says, "Go Bakugo, go baby." In his mind, but he's not going to say that out loud. He then says it out loud. MJ's like, "Baby, what is this man doing?" As she busts a bit. So yeah. As she did sign, so she's able to actually wear her super suit. Well, actually, no, she's not able to wear her super suit, but she is able to put those, how Iron Man has, gloves can fly to him? She can basically do that. So she basically has those, and the bottom of her feet, so she's able to fly and stuff, and she has her nanotechnology. So basically, she's not fully armored up by her suit, but she does have some of the abilities of her suit. She can't do the whole chest blast, so that kind of renders her a little weaker. Just to keep that in mind. Bakugo then chooses not to use any technology, as he says he's gonna be a GOAT alone, be the best alone, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we all know how that turns out. The fight begins, and instantly Bakugo gets behind MJ and puts a blast to MJ's back. MJ then uses her legs and feet to, her energy blast so she can support herself from getting out of bounds using, the flight part. She then turns around and blasts a whole blast straight to Bakugo's face because of her perfect aim. It hits Bakugo's face dead on and kind of knocks Bakugo down a bit. Now Bakugo gets up and he says, "Do you think that's enough?" He then goes forward, ready for the biggest explosion he could do. Not the biggest explosion, but a pretty big explosion with his palm. MJ laughs. He says, "Come on, I still have this." She then used her nanotech to box up both of Katsuki's arms, and then she uses her energy blast to cover her right hand over Bakugo's face and explode on it. Boom. like using an energy blast. Bakugo falls to the ground, and then MJ pulls back her nanotech. He says, "Are you done yet, you little runt? You little angry Pomeranian." She then goes for a stomp onto Bakugo's head, but before that happens, Bakugo stops her foot with his hand, and she tries to use her propellers, but it doesn't work because Bakugo explodes off, not her foot, but off her her feet gears that can help her fly. So yeah, he gets up. He says, "I'm gonna make you regret that." Bakugo then jumps up using full top speed. He says, "Hey!" And then, you can hear Deku in the crowd. He says, "Hey, go easy on her, or I'll kick your butt." MJ says, "I don't need your protection." She then uses her nanotechnology to make like hammers and stuff, and she uses her energy blast at the same time, but it seems not to work. Katsuki then grabs her by her shirt and throws her out of bounds. He then says, I could have ended that way worse, but like Deku said, but you are my friend's girlfriend, so I can't do you like that." Izuku's like, "Yep, that's my girl." And then she's like, "Girlfriend? Do people really think this?" But I was like, "No, just joking around." He laughs as he walks back into the bleachers, as he knows he's gonna win. He then remembers that he's gonna go right back out because the fight with Izuku he has coming next. The winner between the fight between Katsuki Bakugo and MJ is over, and the winner turns out to be Katsuki Bakugo. It's time for the final battle for the first year's UA Sports Festival. Part 1, part 1, I guess you could say. Deku and Bakugo go in for a fight, Deku and Bakugo are already ready. They're already ready to face each other. "Start!" says President Mighty. Instantly, Bakugo turns up behind Izuku. Izuku laughs. He says, "Come on, you know my spidey sense. A move like that wouldn't work." He grabs grabs Katsuki's wrist and flips him over, slamming him on the ground on his back. But it doesn't really affect Bakugo too much, as he then gets right back up so quick. And he says, "Come on, Izuku. You've done that move so many times to me, I've pretty much gained in resistance." And lands an explosion straight to the chest of Izuku Midoriya. Izuku falls down to the ground and says to Bakugo, he says, "Oh, you're gonna regret that." Izuku then attaches 2 webs to the forehead of Bakugo and pulls down and kicks him in the face. He then jumps up and lands like a Superman kind of punch on Bakugo's face again, or a Superman punch on Bakugo's face, not putting Bakugo on the floor. Bakugo then uses his explosions to shoot himself up and to shoot himself straight to Izuku. Izuku then gets ready for a devastating punch to Bakugo's face. And Bakugo gets ready for a devastating explosion to Izuku's face. Boom! They clash. Bakugo putting a humongous explosion onto Izuku's face, and Izuku landing a strong blow to the face of Katsuki. Boom! They both are blasted back. But before either of them gets out of bounds, Izuku uses his webs to stand himself up, and Bakugo uses explosions to support him. They then charge forward at each other, going for another deadly blow at each other. But this one, Izuku uses his webs to pull himself down, dodging Bakugo, and then goes for a backflip kick to the chin of Katsuki, knocking Katsuki back. Katsuki says, "I'm tired of you throwing me around." He smiles a bit. He says, "This is a great fight, Izuku. It's a great fight, Deku." Izuku then says, "Huh?" As Izuku then says, "I was thinking it was kind of boring." Says Izuku, puts in a yarn. Katsuki then questions, says, "What? Are you not trying?" But he looks at Izuku and he can tell that he's bluffing. Bakugo then says, "Oh, you almost got me there." As he jumps up and grabs Izuku's collar, puts his hand on Izuku's face and puts him to the ground. He says, "You think you can take this?" Boom! Explosion straight to Izuku's face. But it doesn't affect Izuku for too long, as he uses the back of his foot, kind of like what Jin Mori does, and kicks Izuku in the back. Kicks Bakugo in the back of the head. This already renders Bakugo pretty low, and both Bakugo and Izuku are pretty stamina losing. But Spider-Man or Izuku with his extra durability takes has more energy and uses his final attack to the best of possible. He moves as fast as possible and uppercuts Bakugo into the air, and then uses his web to throw him out of bounds. But before Bakugo hits the ground, he uses his explosions to blast himself right back in. So he's still in the arena. But this is when Izuku's plan went straight into action. He then uses the momentum that Bakugo's using coming towards him, and kicks Bakugo in his stomach. Basically ending Bakugo's whole career. Not really, but just knocking Bakugo out. And the winner ends up being Izuku Midoriya. And that's where we're going to finish off this video. So yeah, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll be updated my daily uploads. Link down in the description down below for Marx, Spade, and Grimshot. And yeah, peace out.